Welcome to Let's Play Rule the Waves 3 as Germany starting in 1935. It's March 1947 and we are in the second part of what is shaping up to be a famous victory. Terms and conditions apply. Things can always go pear-shaped in this game. We loosed off a barrage of missiles, calling it the dawn of the missile age. We got, I think, 9 reported missile hits, 5 singletons, and apparently 4 on one target. Obviously, the level of reporting is poor. No one's shouting down their radio, scratch one laptop, flat top. And so we will have to wait till the end of the turn to understand what's happening. But here we are. It is 20 past 9 in the morning. So we've got loads of time, 7 hours, 50 minutes until dusk in this shortened days that we get still around March. The weather is still sea state limits ship speed and sea state limits float plane ops. If we bring up the details of one ship, you can see we're limited to 18 knots, so all quite sedentary. So the importance for that is that these guys can't escape quickly. We don't seem to have been found, and if we are found, it appears that my jet fighters have been held as cap rather than being sent across to escort the strike forces. So I'm reasonably confident that they will bring down the enemy. I'm keen to do a search just to verify some of these reports. I'm not going to make it a 2-phase search. One phase should be enough. If we have a look at the reports, I'm just going to filter these out a little bit. So there's not a lot to be gleaned. We sometimes in the reports you can see that it said 4 battlecruisers and now it's saying 2 battlecruisers, and you might want to infer if that is a pattern that's remained, that they may have lost a couple, but we can't really make any inference here because we have reports of 3 carriers, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3. Now, the carriers, they also have light carriers, so the opportunity for those two to get confused is considerable. If we combine light carriers and carriers, the most recent has said 2 carriers. Before that, it said 4 carriers and light carriers. Before that, it said 6 carriers and light carriers. But before we get a rush of blood to the head, before that, it said 3 carriers and light carriers. So yeah, nothing to be inferred particularly. I'm interested, this last position doesn't give an actual position, so that's annoying. But that's the most recent of them, which is why I'm sending out a scout. Obviously, it may get supplemented by scouts from land-based air. I'm really happy with the position of the fleet, because when we do flying operations, we have to go towards Bergen and its funny accent. The distance between us and the most recent report is only 90 nautical miles, so, you know, absolutely fine there. If we look at our strike options, you'll see that we only have the jet fighters there as a large squadron. If I go to the filter up to 3, yeah, only a bunch of jet fighters there and a couple of them there too. So yeah, they say escort, but I don't think that's true. So you may say, what's the plan? I think it couldn't be simpler. Just, you know, sail north into the windish occasionally, trying not to crash into the Norwegian coast. And as we go north, launch strikes and continue to pound them. And I think that's as simple as it gets. And then when we've run out of missiles in particular, or run out of daylight, head to Bergen, or if we've traveled too far north, hop into Trondheim. And yeah, that's, you know, it doesn't get more simpler. I mean, yes, I could divert the fleet. Let me just change the color here. I could be brave and actually send the fleet in and use the battle cruisers to mix things up and sink stragglers and stuff like that. But I'm absolutely not going to risk the carriers on that kind of crazy maneuver. If I could detach the battle cruisers, then yes, I would detach the battle cruisers and send them hunting. That would seem like a good thing, because we know there are no British battle cruisers in this force. It's purely a carrier force. But yeah, even so, that does seem too much of a risk. So yeah, that's the remarkably simple plan. So let's carry on. Let's just put this onto reports and yeah, make it so. So that'll be missile, what did I say? Number 10. All right, so things are going missile-tastic at the moment. So yeah. And another one, 11. So I'm hoping to see that strike start to return. Let's push it up 5 minutes at a time. Let's just see what's happening here. So we're still launching stuff, and we're starting to land stuff as well. Let's just adjust the direction to be more directly north, if it will allow me. And that will be no. Jet fighter aborts launch on bad weather. Let me just weather limits air operations. So not seaplanes, but actual air operations. Of course, that's the other one. But so yeah, 18 knots, and the weather may halt play. Let's push this on 9 minutes. So a new report. 2 carriers and a light carrier there, and 2 carriers. And just 2 carriers there. So those are those 2 down here. Okay, I'm just going to clear off some of these older reports. Let's just get rid of that and see if the pattern gets clearer. So yeah, there was a collection up there. But okay. Well, whilst air operations are limited, we will not be able to do too much. But are approaching enemy ships from Stavanger. Okay, good to know. So they are patrol bombers, and they're launching missiles. Good effort. And the missiles are hitting and hitting. Oh, well, I did call this the dawn of the missile age. Truly, I mean, on the one hand, it's concerning because I could be vulnerable as well. So we've been spotted by enemy aircraft, and the second carrier group has been spotted by enemy aircraft too. So this might be problematic if my cap has had to land because of low fuel and such things. So more from Stavanger. Bit of cap. Right, so British Swordfish shooting down these medium bombers. That's unfortunate. So they've still got their... Okay, a medium bomber has launched a missile against an enemy destroyer. Could pick something a little bit more high value. Let's just see if I've got, because it's a new turn, of course, it's lost its targeting. So let's put that one back on. And let's make the targeting, also a new report that's only, let's put that on there. So if I auto strike, Well, actually, now I do have some stuff. If only I could launch them. Let's go back to reports. So we have a light cruiser there. We have 2 light cruisers there. We have a carrier there and a carrier there. So still very much down in the south. So yes, I mean, obviously there could be the dream circumstance where light cruisers have been reported because all the carriers have been sunk, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So there was a new, all right, so there's 2 there. So they are very much centered around here. So I'm going to push this on, I was going to say 5 minutes at a time, but that's a bit exciting. So a couple of jets attack 8 dive bombers. Right, so the British carriers have finally found us. I mean, it's a surprise that they've taken this long, to be honest. Okay. So 5 dive bombers attack. Cap shoots down 2 and damages 2. And then they've managed to shoot down one of our dive bombers, but I don't know where that is. And then 12 escorting swordfish have a go at our cap at 3 jets. And one of the jets damages a swordfish. And the jets are having a go at some more 7 dive bombers. So more air combat going on there. And a bit more. So actually, this is quite a big strike from them. So here we are attacking 12, which becomes 11, which becomes 10, which becomes 9 dive bombers, British dive bombers. Oh, yes. Cap's doing a great job. More of these Whitleys going down. So they seem to be forcing them to abort. 7 friendly Cap having a go at 6 Whitleys and shooting down 2. All of this is all for the good. So Cap's going down to land. Oh dear. Why are we... Okay, let's go sort out that. So I've just tried to detach that to Bergen. Who knows whether it'll do as it's told. Okay, so it's limited its flooding because I've slowed it right down. But yeah. Sea state is still limiting air operations. Let's just check with the carrier. 19 knots now. Daylight sighting range is only 11,000 yards. Well, that seems to be the switches to AI control. Good luck, Z75. Let's hope you continue on your way to safety. Hello. Berlin reports unknown radar contact. Okay. So, where are things? So there's the... I set them to be... They're the battle cruisers and Lutzow. I set them to scout. They could never actually reach a position in front of the carriers. So because there's an unknown radar contact here, I am going to send the carriers southward if they will let me, which of course is problematic. Nope, they still want to go into the wind. Okay, so it says it's a merchant, so panic over. So we don't have to worry about that one. Time is now 10:30. Let's have a look at these reports. Let's get rid of all of these historic ones, and that just keeps, is that, yep, that's all within. So we're seeing reports of 2 CVs and 3 CVs and 2 CVs, a couple of light cruisers. I'm not interested in the light cruisers. 4 of light cruisers. Let's just take all of those out. So yeah, so there's the pattern. Trouble is, we can't do much about it other than hootle along. Set it to cruise. Set it back into a northerly direction and wait patiently for the weather to improve. Which might be a while. Let's just check how much time we've got. 5 hours and 50 minutes. I'm just moving it 9 minutes at a time. So there's a new contact heading into the lee. Oh no, it's not the lee. This side is the lee of Shetland. This is still in the full force of this gale that is blowing down from the Arctic and causing these horrible conditions. Wind is high. Daylight sighting range is now down to 9,500 yards. So not very much. So we've got some gladiators attacking some dive bombers. It's still a little bit of activity. So these are from, we've got Cap landing at Kiel. I don't know whether that's from us. And again, unknown radar contact, but I bet your bottom dollar, yeah, that's that merchant ship. So again, we don't have to be concerned. So yeah, we're just track north. Again, friendly Cap attacks 9 Peregrine torpedo bombers and shoot one down. Let's go a minute by minute whilst that's happening, and they are approaching us. Now, of course, our ability to maneuver to avoid torpedoes is pretty small, given that we're, lumbering around, wallowing, I'm going to say, in these heavy weathers. So much anti-aircraft. So D-58 is avoiding torpedoes sluggishly. Ooh. So yeah, they definitely were able to launch. Well done, sorry, Z-58. And that seems to have passed. So we've got Cap landing on Otto Liefenthal. So at least we can get our planes down. They're not having to divert to Bergen or some such. But yeah, 2 Junkers are approaching enemy ships. Go, boys. Best of luck. And some medium bombers landing back at Wilhelmshaven. They go in. Some, one of them's damaged by heavy anti-aircraft. I doubt they're achieved very much. And one of our Focke-Wulfs has been repaired. Hooray, hurrah. So back to 9 a turn. Still that merchant ship causing spurious returns. I hope. Yep, that is Z-75, and it is heading towards Bergen. So hooray for actually doing as it's told. So yeah, seeing some low fuel. I'm just seeing if there are any more. Just going 2 at a turn. Breslau with an unknown contact, which is an escort. Okay, this is quite helpful that actually if they're yours, you can tell if you can hover over the radar contact. So I don't have to get all super worried about it. I'm just doing 2 at a turn. And boom, there we are. So let's literally see what the damage is. Cross fingers that it's an epic victory. Oh, wow. For all that missling, we've only sunk 1 carrier. Wow. I hoped it was more. I mean, 87,000 victory points against minus 9,000. But still, I'd hoped, let's just zoom in for you, I'd hoped that was going to be a bit more devastating. So we've lost nothing, just the Z75 with medium damage and a couple of destroys with light damage. So we're all good, which means next turn we'll be stronger because some of the ships in repair are going to be returning. So that's good. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carriers and only 1 light carrier. So they did out-carrier us, although I believe my carriers have larger air wings. No capital ships, no heavy cruisers, so only 3 light cruisers. So yeah, had I gone in with my battle cruisers, we might have been able to sink more, but I still think that the risk was too high. Let's look at air losses. So we lost 47 with 10 fighters, 17 torpedo bombers, 15 dive bombers, 5 mediums, which is fair enough, of which 40 were operational losses and 7 to anti-aircraft. And they lost 105 with 67 lost on the ground or on the ship. So I'm saying that's that carrier that got lost. 29 air-to-air losses. I think that's mainly because they only launched 1 successful strike against us, and we launched multiple strikes against them. So yeah, that's fine. Bonus for surviving merchant ships. But yeah, let's look at the ship details before I forget and clumsily go. So the Argus with 40, let's call it 50,000 damage points, got sunk. So the Argus, 68 planes, so yep. And let's see what happened to the Argus. So much evading air attack, a medium missile, hull hit, armor pushed in, fire started. So, a bit of armor, and its armors are only 2-inch on the belt and 4-inch on the flight deck. And then at the same time, a second one hit the superstructure. And at the same time, a third. So this is the 4 hitter that we got against them. And that third one hit turret S, which disabled it and started a fire. And then the fourth one hit turret S as well, which disabled it. So from what I can tell, it doesn't seem amazingly bad, but then you get all of this. So they're evading a bit more, but then fire control, fire spreads, fire controls, fire spreads, fire. Yeah, so they're getting a lot of fire. They've limited their flooding, but yeah, here goes the fire. Fire 5, 6, 5, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, fire spreads 9, and yeah. raging out of control, and the ship is abandoned. Okay, so that's what the missiles did. Nice one. The Glorious almost got into nasty flooding. Let's a little look at its log. So really quite simple. It's a torpedo hit from von Richthofen. Just the one. And much evading, but it's the flooding. So the flooding of 115, which they get down to 70. They do have some fire, level 2, flooding down to 40 to 11, down to 5. Cannot keep up and's been attached. Fire extinguished. So that's a lot of damage for one torpedo. Yeah. I'm not sure if we were unlucky that the flooding and the fire didn't do for the Glorious, or lucky that it was so heavily damaged by just one torpedo hit. Oh, sorry, 2 torpedo hits. Oh yeah, here we go. There's the second one from Peter Strasser. Okay. And then the Ark Royal, 3 bomb hits. The Eagle, 1 bomb hit. And us, basically nothing. Our destroyers were just damaged by the heavy weather, I believe. So yeah, not big number. So it might get a couple of prestige, which might undo unrest, but not as many ships sunk as I had hoped. Actually, just go back to that. Missile hits. So we were reported, I think, 11, but we appear to have achieved 6, 4 against Argus, 1 against Eagle. So what happened to the Eagle one that it didn't do that much damage? Hits the superstructure, meh. So yeah, and 1 against a destroyer. Let's just see what it did to that. Medium damage. So these missiles are not overwhelming, so that's good. Medium hit, 4 aft hull hit, fire started, fire extinguished. Okay, yeah, they're not quite the wonder weapon that I had thought, which is also good for me, because when things turn nasty. So let's view the map and just have a little look at the flagship courses. So they were there, we were here, we went north during the bad weather yesterday, and then during the night we came down south, and then when it got daylight again we went north, and that's when we did all of these. They started off here, dinked about in the late evening, and then also went south during the night time. Got to here, continued going south to about 10, and then have ended up here for the flagship. So yeah, I'm going to say my plan worked, and actually I'm pretty pleased at that level of control in shocking weather again. So yeah, let's end this and come back. So just the 1 prestige, a minor victory. Oh god, that's hard. Battle of the Norwegian Sea. I'll give them that as a working name. And 4 new submarines, of course. Daring pilots picked up 12 bomb hits. Well done, 3386 scrap. Several well-known laces. The scored a total of 16 air. Well done, 3685. Studies give us some performance data on the Gladiator. So firepower 11, top speed 316, and less than 250 nautical miles. 316, remember that. New medium bomber ready for operational service. Hooray. New light jet fighter as a private venture. Oh, okay. Let's see what Heinkel have come up with. Let's bring this down to here. So speed, a little bit better. Certainly a fair bit better than the Feisler, a little bit better than the Henschel. Range, sorry, cruise speed, a little bit higher. Range, comparable. Medium range, comparable. Heavy range, in the middle. Firepower, the same. Maneuverability, slightly less. Toughness, bomb, stuff. Yep, that's all fine. Now we've finally got some reliability data on the Feisler, and it's poor. So I am minded to obsolete that and concentrate on the Henschel, in which case slightly faster, considerably less range than the Henschel, so that's not okay. And slightly less maneuverable, same bomb stuff. Can't carry missiles, can't carry torpedoes. So I'm going to reject the Heinkel, and I'm going to obsolete the Henschel. The French has sunk a submarine, a coastal, and another, and a third, and we've sunk one of theirs, and we've sunk a second of theirs, and we've sunk a third of theirs. So that's all right. We've lost a corvette, and we've sunk another of theirs. So actually, that was very good. The British have lost a destroyer, and the Japanese a corvette. So nobody cares about that. So yeah, enemy submarines 4, and they've been reinforced by the French, remember, and ours 3. So that's pretty good. 41 merchants sunk. So that's a good effort too. So that's important because, first of all of our submarine losses have been coastal ones in Northern Europe. So none of our medium-range submarines that we've been deploying in distant sea zones have been sunk. So that's fine. We've sunk 41 merchant ships. So that's given a big boost to the number of merchant ships that we've sunk in this campaign, and has taken our U-boats lost per merchant ships sunk from 2 and a bit to 4.8. So nearly 5 merchant ships for each U-boat lost, and the trend is upwards. So the dispersing of our medium submarines into distant waters where the ASW forces are weak is certainly having an effect on both merchant ships lost and medium submarines being sunk. So that's really good. The importance of medium submarines for me is only being underscored by this so far, and that's despite the French joining and adding its ASW forces and its submarines to the battle. So yeah, pretty chuffed at that. So let's close that one down. British have increased their naval budget. They're laying down destroyers. The French are laying down corvettes. Who cares about China? The British have been building air bases hither and thither. So not much change there. A few promotions. So Rear Admiral trader is being promoted to an admiral, and a few of my Fregattenkapitans have been promoted to Capitans of the Sea, full captain. And yeah, okay, the French, some more corvettes being laid down. Okay, pretty happy with that. Let's just go to aircraft types. So the Feisler, despite its tempting longer range, is going to get obsoleted. So yeah, there are none in service anyhow. So let's obsolete that and concentrate on the Henschel. And yeah, I think that's all we need to do around that. Let's just have a look at our let's look at obsolete types. Look away, because there are many of them. I wanted to just see Blossom Voom. So our maximum speed is 279, whereas the Gladiator was something like 316, I believe. So yeah, so well due for a new fighter, and we have one in progress. So that's okay with that, and that's fine. Monthly balance is improving as things get built, and because we didn't suffer significant repair damage, that all helps too. So now only 3,700. So yep, still blockaded. If we just go to the map and have a look at the relative blockade strengths, we come out at 194. The British are only 156. But the French contribute 170. So if it wasn't for those French, blockade would have been released. So yeah, look forward to tackling the French and whittling them down a little bit. So yeah, the blockade strength. Britain 96, France 122. Right, well, let's leave it there and pick up a fresh month with a fresh battle and see again if we can achieve that glorious victory that will bring our unrest down. Of note, the Americans are still pretty placid at tension 3, which is great. If we look at all relationships and put the numbers in, we look at Italy, they are 7 and 8 against the British and French. So, not super high, but yeah, could be a burner for the future. Right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.